Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
Hey everyone, Kenny Tony coming at you today with this quick video. So yeah, we're still trying to get the WR450 to run. Last video we got the stator side off. We checked out the one-way bearing, which seemed to be kind of iffy, and the Magneto was pretty beat up from the bolts that got taken out. When those bolts came out, they did replace the starter, and I noticed that it was not an OEM starter, which doesn't matter. A lot of people say if you're going to use the electronics for these things, you need to use the OEM parts. So one of the things I did mention in the last video was the rubber grommet that separates the outside world to the inside of the motor. Typically only has 4 holes, or however many holes that is needed by the specific model. When you use aftermarket ones, it has extra holes because they use that same rubber grommet for different things. And this one only needed 4 holes, and it had about 6 or 8 left open holes, and that gave me some rust on top of my stator. So I decided to go ahead and purchase a new used stator, one-way bearing, and the gear clutch, the gear. It was $150 with $15 shipping from eBay used. Came off of I wanted to say a 2006. The listing said it'll work from a 2003 to a 2018. So we're going to pick the video up where we left off, and that was with the other one completely removed. Alright, so here we are at just a slightly different camera angle. What we're going to do now is put the replacement generator in. So here's a replacement generator. It came off a WR450 2006. We're going to see if this is able to turn over and act better than the other one did. Already spinning correctly, looking good. As you see, like the other one is kind of beat up on the insides right in here. Previous owner said that these screws had backed out and damaged it. And we're just going to go ahead and replace that whole thing with the used one. See if we can have any better luck. So we got this all back in there. We got the gear. A little small reducer here. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the gasket on just to make sure we're going the right direction with everything. The gasket surface and everything looks relatively clean. So we're going to push that part back in there. Got our 2 guide pins down there. Got our new gasket. It's going to sit. Looks like it's going to go right. Hopefully the problem that I'm having is just going to be with the generator more than it's going to be with anything else. So hopefully I don't have to replace my stator or anything. We're going to line this up on here correctly. And see, make sure we can get all of our gasket bolts in there. Probably better to put it on the cover rather than to just put it up here like this, but this is what we have going. If these are like anything else, they're going to be torqued down to 7 foot-pounds, and I usually go ahead and do 8. So if you take it this way, it has tension, but if you let it go this way, it rolls easily. And when I turn the motor over, all right, so I started moving along and ended up forgetting that my camera was off. So, got the cover back on. Gear spins as it should. We are going to put the torque gear on here. One is just going to receive the power. So there's a washer that goes on both ends. One goes on this end and then one goes on the other end inside here. I'm just going to sit it in here. Wiggle it a little bit first. Make sure I can get it in and then do a little bit of a turn over to make sure it doesn't turn the starter. Washer there. Let me take a look and see which side looks like it goes up. I assume it's the one with this little notch in it right here, because that reminds me of how it looked prior. And it is a snug fit, because I remember it wasn't the simplest removal either. All right, side back on, stator gasket replaced, new generator. We're gonna do a quick test to see if the stator is good or not. We're gonna go up here to the top, trace the wiring harness. All right, so with the cover on, same thing. This is the easy way. Turn it back this way is what turns the motor over, going that way. I'll put my gear in. Same easy way as this way. Turn the motor over. It's going to go that way, because it's going to turn the teeth down. So it has to turn this way for the motor to turn over. Conclusion of this video, everything's wrapped up. We have the new gear, the new one-way bearing, and the new Magneto installed. It does look like the one that was in there wasn't even OEM, and the reason I'm stating that is because it didn't have timing marks on it. The one that I do have that I didn't install, it does have that little H in the dash beside it, but I couldn't find that on the one that I removed, so I'm assuming that it wasn't OEM. It doesn't matter if it's OEM or not, I don't know, we'll figure it out. The bad news is it still didn't start. I still didn't have any spark with it or anything, and I really didn't get to test the spark out so much because the starter was still acting up. When I started it and I put the starter in, I put my jumper pack on it, the starter was actually turning the wrong direction. That's kind of weird. I didn't notice that before, and I didn't get to test the starter out prior because the starter and the kicker seemed to be together, and when you hit the kicker, it would want to turn the starter over. So as I stated, you don't know who works on these things, you don't know who's going on with them, but we'll get this all fixed, and I don't really see this as a huge issue. The next thing that's going to be on the list that I am ordering is another starter. We're going to figure out where we can find another OEM or another used one, or what kind of deals we can find with that. And we're going to get this video started back. But this is all got to get fixed so that we can get the YFZ450 WR hybrid complete. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well.
This is the end.